All right, Anthony Simonsen, redemption this week in the Groupon PBA Illinois Classic. You were pretty calm throughout the week, but the emotions poured out of you after that second strike of the 10th. Talk to me a little bit about just that release, that the emotions that you were feeling in that moment.
Uh, like redemption's obviously sweet. It doesn't really matter, I guess, in what form it comes up, whether it's a major, against the same guy or not. To get out and bowl as good of a game as I did, I felt like I made 12 really good shots there. The right lane I was pretty confident on, so that's kind of why I chose to finish there anyways. Santu bowled a great game, and I kind of figured it was going to take a big game to win, and he just kept on striking. So I figured I had to do the exact same.
Yeah, what's it like in going from the U.S. Open last week, where 197 is a winner, to this week? You needed almost 100 more than that to win it. What's it like in a back and forth battle like that, where if I don't strike on any given shot, I might be dead?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things like when you're never really rooting against somebody, but at the same time you're kind of like, man, I would like a little bit of space to breathe here. And then I think whenever he went high on that left lane, I had a feeling one of two things was going to happen. He was either going to make the move and possibly ring 10 like he did, and or kind of stay in that same spot and maybe throw it harder. But I think it's kind of one of those, like, I don't really know. I know I don't need to make the same shot, but I need to do something different. So, hats off to Santu for making a great shot. And like I told him, I hope to not have to beat 279 in the title match anytime soon.
You step up there in the 10th, needing two strikes for the win. I'm sure you're aware of the situation there. What's your thought process this week? Is it any different in that moment than it was a week ago, than it was in any other title match you've been in?
No, as I showed last week, the first two aren't the problem. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, it's just kind of one of those, like, just get up, make a good shot, and live with the results. That's kind of my motto. Is if I get up and make a good shot, and it doesn't strike, it doesn't strike. There's thousands of shots that I make that are really good that don't strike, and there's thousands of shots that I make that aren't very good that do strike. So you just gotta hope that they balance themselves out at the right time.
You've been the top seed multiple times in your career, obviously. When you're playing the waiting game and you're trying to, knowing you're going to hop on and you're going to have one game to win this title on a pair of lanes where someone else has already been bowling on, and particularly in this match where you're following so much rev rate, EJ and Santu earlier in Ogle and Maldonado, how were you able to adapt and adjust so quickly, especially off a game when EJ shot, 160, 170?
I think we, as a group, the lanes were obviously playable from the start, but we as a group made them pretty easy, I think. I spent the first few minutes of our warm-up using plastic. EJ and Santu used urethane, and then I don't know if they saw, but I was just kind of hanging out to the right with a ball with a lot of surface to kind of break them down over there, feeling that I was actually had intentions to play a little bit further right than I did. But when I threw my practice shots, it looked pretty good from where I was. So I just made a little bit of a move left, and was able to get comfortable and make some good shots.
Last year wasn't your best year, obviously battling a back injury throughout. But coming into this season, after no wins last year for the first time in a few seasons, how motivated were you to get back in the winner's circle here?
I just wanted to, I physically have felt really good this season. Even some prior events, like outside of the PBA, I bowled and didn't win, but it was nice stepping stones. Body didn't hurt. Form was really good. So it's nice to see the practice, paying off. I started bowling pretty heavily about a month, I guess 4 to 6 weeks out before the season. So that, I think, is definitely paid off. And just trying to get myself, with us having 10 straight weeks, I feel like I normally struggle the first couple weeks getting back into the tour environment. So I tried to bowl a little bit more to be a little sharper. And like I mentioned, or I told some guys when I left St. Peter's after just missing a check that obviously was a little disappointed to miss a check, but at the same time I bowled well. And to me, I was putting the pieces together. So to say that 2 weeks ago and then have a second last week at the U.S. Open and then to win this week here in Illinois, it shows me that the pieces are coming together.
Yeah, really strong start to the season. What are you capable of the rest of the way? How can you use these recent strong performances, build on that, and maybe put together a special season here?
It's going to be the same thing that it has been for the last decade now. We're going to bowl 1 week at a time, see what happens. Obviously, this week means nothing when we get to Fort Wayne. doesn't mean anything when we leave Fort Wayne. So we're just going to keep taking it 1 week at a time and try to bowl as best we can throughout the rest of the season.
This performance, 5,000 points for your season long. You're back in the race for that final berth on the USA team for USA versus the world. Is that on your mind at all? Is that a spot you want to get?
No, I don't really care about any of that stuff. Again, it goes back to we're going to try to bowl as best as we can week in and week out. And if we make it on to that spot, then we do. If not, it'll be a fun show to watch.
You've talked a lot about each week is its own week. How is it more or less difficult to get over a week when you win versus when you lose like the week before versus a random ho-hum 12th place finish?
Yeah, that's going to be a good question. I feel like just the high you're riding after winning an event, it's really hard to not be complacent, I guess, going into the next week. I know the scores are going to be high. Dave loves high scores, so hopefully the strike and shoes in Illinois make their way to Indiana.
Yeah, I'm the local. Oh, I'm the local guy, and so I know you're kind of used to this kind of, week after week. But just between tinkering and helping out in the lanes, and then Decatur's first ever PBA experience, just what did you get with this atmosphere this week?
It was good. Dave always puts on great events, does a lot for this community to get people to come out. So for us to have a first event here, have a packed show as we did, we had people in here all week for every session. That just goes to show how good of a proprietor Dave is and how much I think we as the competitors like bowling in his centers.
All right, last thing for you here. What are your plans for Monday? I hear you're sticking around town for a little bit, huh?
On Monday, we're going to go ahead and tinker with a couple other lanes. Lane 1, the table got rebuilt and needs to get finished and being installed. So I'm going to do that and then hopefully leave them with 8 better lanes than I found them.
That's incredible. It's Anthony Simonsen, bowling professional, on to the Indiana Classic next week.
Thanks.